What is going on, everybody? This is going to be the second video of the day, and this is a very important video, okay? I think this is more important than the first one I put out. I did this type of video today on my Pokemon channel, and what it is we're going to be looking at basically all the sets that Bandai have released so far for One Piece, and we're going to look at the TCG player price, and then go over to eBay. And what we're doing on eBay is we're basically trying to figure out how many boxes are listed on the open market right now below a 20% leg up. And this is going to give us an idea of how much inventory is left, and are some of these boxes going to see price increases in the near future. So a couple things to point out. Again, the booster boxes listed in this chart are basically before a 20% increase. And I'm taking TCG player price. A 20% increase is going to be these numbers over here in this column. For daily sale rate, what I'm doing is taking all the sales for an entire week from April 16th to the 10th, every one in the 16th and every one in the 10th and in between, and then dividing by 7 to get a daily average, if that makes sense. And then days remaining is just going to be this number divided by this number to give us this number in this column. So to start, Romance Dawn blue bottoms. We're not doing the white bottoms, just doing blue bottoms. And I thought this was really funny when you look at the data on eBay. And again, you guys can go check. I'm not going to show you everything, every single box that we go through, just because I would have a billion tabs and my computer would crash out. But for Romance Dawn, TCG player price is $1,154 approximately. There is 0 booster boxes listed below a 20% leg up. Every box is basically over $1,500 on eBay right now, which is insane. So for blue bottoms, Romance Dawn, I did a 40% leg up just to see, which would be $1,615. And there's only 5 boxes listed below $1,650 on eBay, and a daily sale rate of 0.71 boxes per day. That basically is only a week worth of boxes before we reach this leg up. And I'm not saying it's going to be $1,600 in a week. Maybe it will. But really what we should take from this is that there is not that many blue bottom Romance Dawn English boxes out there, guys. Like, there really is not that many. And I mean, it just shows this box went from $1,100 to essentially $1,500 overnight. Like, that is insane growth for a box. And you would think more people would be listing their boxes if there were a ton out there, but there really isn't that many. And we went over this a couple videos ago. Boxes were up for like $1,300. Again, it went like $1,100, $1,300, $1,500 on eBay. I thought maybe there was a chance it would come back down to that $1,300 range. No, the most recent sale is around $1,500. And most boxes listed are above $1,500 at this price point. So I don't think this is going to pull back at all. Now, after Romance Dawn, we don't see anything too exciting for a while. Paramount War is the second box. TCG player around $223. A 20% leg up would be $267.54. And there's 50 booster boxes listed below that price point. A daily sale rate of 80 or 0.86 boxes. That's 58.14 days of inventory. So don't expect your Paramount War boxes to be making another move up anytime soon. I think they're going to stay around this $220 range, and you're going to see sales in that 210 range, 200 range, 230, 40. It's going to fluctuate a little bit, but we're not going to see a leg up anytime soon. Same thing with Pillars of Strength sitting around $215. You have 17 boxes listed below $256. Only about 0.43 boxes selling per day. That's around 40 days worth of inventory on the open market. Kingdoms of Intrigue, same deal, sitting around $156. A 20% leg up's $187. 32 boxes listed below that price. 0.71 boxes selling a day. That's 45 days of inventory. So OPO2 to OPO4, not going to be seeing any crazy moves anytime soon. Now, guys, before we look at the rest of these, I just want to jump in here and say 76.8% of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. If you're getting some value out of this content and enjoying it, please consider just subscribing to the channel. It means a lot, helps me out a ton. That's all I'm going to say. And if not, that's fine as well. So moving into Awakening of the New Era, TCG player $226.34. 20% leg up would be around $271. There are 37 boxes listed below that price, and 3 boxes are selling on average. So 21 sold in the past week. That's 12.33 days of remaining inventory. That really isn't a lot. And the other thing I wanted to point out is, out of all of the OP sets released so far, this is the box selling the most consistently over the past week on the open market. 3 daily sales. The second closest one is going to be OP09, which we'll look at here in a minute, but that is fairly decent for a set that's nearing $230-ish. And again, I think we are going to see another leg up on this. Now, OP05 could, in theory, get another reprint. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video a little bit. But the fact that there isn't that much supply out there, I imagine we're going to see another leg up here fairly shortly for OP05. So keep an eye on that. Wings of the Captain OP06, $145 on TCG Player. 20% up would be around $175. You have 35 boxes listed below that price, one selling per day, so that's 35 days of inventory essentially on the secondary market. 500 years in the future, OP07. This is a surprising set to me when I looked at this data. Sitting around $109, and this has been coming down since its high in February around $112 over the past 3 months. You have 12 boxes listed below 131, which would be a 20% leg up. One box selling per day, so 7 over the past week sold. That's only 12 days. 12 days of inventory before we see this hit 130. And again, remember, people could list more boxes. I'm also not looking at auctions and stuff like that. So there are going to be some things that factor into this to make it, not actually be 12 days, to be a larger number than that. People will list more boxes as this moves up into the 115, 120, 125 range, etc. So even still, though, this is a very small number compared to a lot of the other data points on this list. So OP07, keep your eyes on that. That could be a dark horse to start making moves here soon. Now, two legends, that's the next up, OP08. And instinctively, I think yesterday's video, I said that this wasn't a great investment, even if it was cheap. And this kind of confirms what I was thinking. So if we go look, a 20% increase in price would bring this up to around $115. There's 145 booster boxes listed on eBay below that price point. 1.57 is actually, I shouldn't say only, that's a decent sell-through rate per day right now, 1.5 boxes essentially, but that's still 92 days, over 92, almost 93 days worth of inventory remaining. So 3 months before we really see this box start to move, and even then people could start adding boxes as this moves into the 100, 110 range. So it's going to be quite a while before we see two legends make any type of move. So if you guys are thinking about investing in two legends, probably best to avoid it right now. Whereas Emperors in the New World, OP09, this is a great set, super deep, Gold Roger, you guys already know, sitting around 170 on TCG Player. A 20% move would bring this up to around 205 USD. 35 boxes listed under 205 on eBay, selling at 2.29 per day. That is the second highest on this list, and that's 15 days basically of inventory. So OP09, if we don't get a reprint anytime soon, this box is going to start to climb into that like 220, 230, 240 range based on recent sales. And again, people could put up more boxes as we move into the 200s. I imagine that will happen. It'll slow it down, but we could see this box legitimately be in the mid 200s towards, maybe fall or something like that if we don't get a reprint and if demand stays high, which when you look at some of these other sets out there, like really, compared to OP09, some of the only other sets that excite me, OP05, which again is selling very consistently, and then maybe PRB01, which is selling at a decent rate as well. A lot of the other sets people just aren't as excited about. Like that is just the reality right now. I'm sure a lot of people who play the TCG need to open some of these sets to get cards. Great, but in terms of collectability and sets that collectors want to open, a lot of the other ones just aren't holding up. And speaking of not holding up, Royal Blood, again, I talked about this in the other video. It's probably not a good investment right now. Even if it comes down into that $70, $80 range, you're going to be sitting on these boxes a long time. And we even have a wave 2 coming. Pre-orders were up on Hobby, so we talked about that yesterday. Go watch that video if you haven't already. $103, 20% leg up will be $123.83, almost $124. There's 351 booster boxes listed below $123.83 on eBay. They're selling at 1.29 boxes per day. That is 272 days before we would reach essentially this box price on eBay based on sell-through rate. And again, people would add in more boxes as we go up. So don't expect Royal Blood to be anywhere near the 120s or even maybe to crack 100 within the next like 5 to 6 months unless we see some insane spike in demand for the set. I think this is cooked for at least the next 6 to 8 months, 9 months. You're going to be able to get this box cheap. So don't FOMO into something like Royal Blood right now. That is one of the one of the sets I would not touch. Same thing with 2 Legends. You're still going to have time. Not as much time as Royal Blood, but you're still going to have time on those sets, guys. Don't worry. Next up, Memorial Collection, second to last, sitting around $325 on TCG Player. 20% increase would bring you up to around $390. There's only 7 boxes, guys. 7 boxes listed under $389.66 on eBay, selling at 0.71 boxes a day. That's a pretty decent sell-through rate for a box this high, considering all of these other ones. So that's only 9.86 days of inventory before we get to this level. Again, that'll probably slow down. People might add more boxes, etc. But that's a fairly low amount of inventory for the current demand of this set. And then finally, PRB01 sitting around $267 on TCG Player. 20% increase is around $320 USD. 27 boxes listed on eBay below that, selling at 1 a day. That's 27 days or a little less than a month worth of inventory. And again, people could add boxes, yeah. But what you guys should take away from this data set, okay, is that there's basically no blue bottom Romance Dawn out there. And I really need to try and find a decent deal on a box. And not even just a decent deal, but someone I trust, because resealing, fakes, all of that stuff, once you get into this like $1,000 threshold, I mean, for One Piece, I'm not sure it's as big of a market as something like Pokemon, but you should still be careful for that sort of thing. Outside of that, outside of Romance Dawn, blue bottoms being a decent investment in my mind, I think you really have to pay attention to OPO5. Again, guys, I've been saying this since the beginning of this channel, and even before I started the channel, this was one of the sets that caught my eye. It's legit. You have the Luffy's in there, and the reality is, even if people are opening this to get some cards for the TCG, which I highly doubt it, people are chasing the Luffy in this set and the other cards, the other top cards as well. And I mean, it just shows like the sell-through rate on this box is better than any other box right now, despite it being one of the more expensive ones outside of Romance Dawn, blue and white bottoms, and then the Memorial Collection PRB. Like, it's up there in price. The other thing to take away from this video, the Memorial Collection as well. There's not a lot of supply out there. And when we look at EBO2, guys, I mean, that's why I made that video on it today. Like, if Bandai isn't reprinting their specialty sets as much as some of these other mainline sets, we could have the same sort of situation happen, and even to a higher degree, right? Because Memorial Collection, you have the Chopper in there, but outside that, like, you don't have any crazy cards. We took a look at EBO2 today. You have a couple Luffy's in there. You have some other reprint cards, but really the Gear 2 manga Luffy in there is definitely going to be a better top hit than the Chopper from the Extra Booster Memorial Collection. So I think EBO2, if it doesn't get reprinted, and if they do a similar print run, right, and maybe Bandai is ramping up their print runs. I mean, like taking Royal Blood, the most recent set, and once OP11 comes out, I will take a look at the data on eBay and kind of the open market to get a better idea, because maybe Bandai is ramping up their print runs over these past couple sets, and there's just more out there. I mean, we see another wave coming to Royal Blood too. Like, this could be just an insane dump of boxes. But if it's anything like the Memorial Collection, EBO2 is going to spike in price fairly quickly too, within a year. So keep an eye on not only the Memorial Collection, but if you can get EBO2 at a decent price, I think it's worth getting a couple boxes. And I don't know why so many people, compared to my other videos, downvoted that one. Like, people didn't really enjoy that content. I'm curious why, because I didn't think I said anything too crazy in that video. But to each their own. And then finally, PRB01, the premium booster. We're probably not going to see a leg up anytime soon. I mean, maybe you get a better idea towards the end of the year if this pushes $300, if it doesn't get a reprint, something like that. Maybe it even happens faster than that. Keep an eye on it though, and we'll check sales data over the next few weeks and months just to get a better idea of sell-through rate and if it's changing and if these numbers at all change. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, again, subscribe to the channel. It takes half a second. It helps me out a ton, especially, going towards monetization. It really does help. Outside that, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this type of content, if I should continue to do this. It does take a fair amount of time on my end just to pull up all the data, but if you guys enjoy it, I will continue to do it. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.